I'm so excited to be with Jennifer and Sarah today as we discover lots of things with Braille technology. Jennifer and Sarah, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us your role with APH?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Wenzel. I am a technology product specialist with APH. I've been with APH almost a year now, and I support Braille and technology products such as the Mantis, Chameleon, Page Connect, and Monarch,
And
Awesome.
many more as
and
well.
many more.
Hi, so my name is Sarah Welch, and I am on the product development side of things. So we're developing the products, and I work with Braille technology.
I'm really excited to hear about the Mantis and all of the features. I can see that it's much larger than the Chameleon, but I'm sure it has some great benefits that our families would like to hear about.
So the Mantis is larger than the Chameleon for a couple of reasons. For one, it is double the size of your Braille display line. So the Chameleon, if you guys remember, is a, or have seen the other video, is 20 cells. The Mantis is 40 cells. So you get a 40 cell line, which is really beneficial for a lot of different reading things, especially when you're connected to a computer and working on larger documents. The Mantis, instead of the Perkins style keyboard, has a standard QWERTY keyboard. So more like something you would find on a laptop. And one great advantage of this is that if a student is typing, they will be able to read on the Braille display what they have typed. They can also control their computer if the Mantis is connected. And the Mantis is also a hybrid display. So kind of like a tablet, it can connect through Bluetooth or through USB to a computer, or it can connect to Bluetooth through Bluetooth to a phone or iPad. So you would be able to use keyboard commands when the Mantis is connected to perform functions. So for example, on a computer, if a student was editing a document, they would be able to use the computer commands for selecting text, copying, pasting, any of those commands that you would use on a Windows PC right through the Mantis. You can also use this keyboard as a Bluetooth keyboard while you're using a phone. So for texting, for emailing over the phone, any applications that you would use the phone for. So it's great for standalone note taking. It also has a calculator and a clock, and then it has a book reader as well, so you are able to download Bookshare and NLS Bard and NFB Newsline content on the Mantis as well. Still fairly portable. I have mine in a case, which is sold separately, but I like the case. It does come with a bumper type case that kind of comes up the sides and for some protection, but it does not cover the keys. The case that's sold separately is leather and does cover the keys to give more protection, especially, and it also has a strap for crossbody carrying.
So, Jennifer, just to be clear, do you have to have the Mantis connected to another device to use it?
No, you do not have to. It has standalone features, so you're able to either use, I forgot to mention that, so you can use the editor to create files and make notes or make a short document. It also has a Braille editor, so you can use 6-key entry on the Mantis, making it into a Braille keyboard. So the S, D, F, J, K, L keys can be used, and you can toggle that very quickly between those two types of keyboards. So there is a Braille editor that would make BRF files as well in a standalone mode. And you can also connect it to Wi-Fi to download content for the Reader app and use that standalone for that as well.
So earlier we mentioned that the Mantis, just size-wise, is a little bit bigger than the Chameleon. So for reference, the Mantis is about 1.7 pounds, and dimension-wise, it is 6.69 inches by 11.4 inches by 0.78 inches.
I think the huge advantage of the Mantis, especially for students maybe from third grade on, is that QWERTY keyboard, because having typing skills as a blind student are critical for the lifelong employment for success in the future. So I believe that the earlier a student can start with that QWERTY keyboard, the better. It also can be helpful for a student who is losing vision later, so that they may already have some of that those print keyboard typing skills, and they're able to use those skills, for instance, typing an A and then checking the Braille A. So being able to use that to transition to Braille, I think, is also really important. And to be able to use those skills with a PC is great because you don't have to learn separate commands for the Mantis when you're using the computer. You can use the same commands that you would use with any computer keyboard.
I really liked all that you shared about the Mantis and again, making that connection between the actual keyboard. But I'm curious to see your opinion. What student or child might benefit from having the Mantis versus a chameleon?
So I think that students would benefit from a young age starting with the Mantis because of the keyboarding skills involved with the Mantis. So as students are working with keyboarding, having that Mantis is a wonderful way to reinforce their Braille as they're learning those keyboarding skills because they can type and the Braille is right there for them to read. It's so much nicer than the way I learned to type, which was with a manual typewriter, and I had no idea if I was actually typing correctly until someone could come by and confirm for me that it was correct. These students would be able to do this right on the Mantis. And as they grow and learn more about computers and keyboard commands for computers, the Mantis would be a wonderful way for them to practice all of those keyboard commands. And even if they're using an iPad or some other device, that would also reinforce those keyboarding commands. So I would say a Mantis could be used for a student at a young age and grow with them through their schooling. And especially, of course, students who are going to be Braille readers, they could also use the 6-key entry and reinforce some of those Braille keyboarding skills with the Mantis.
And kind of building off what you were saying, Jennifer. So one of the feedback that we've got as far as like the benefits of QWERTY, which is what the Mantis has a QWERTY keyboard, is like you were saying, it builds those transferable skills because the keyboard is laid out exactly like a traditional QWERTY keyboard. So they can take those skills into the workplace or onto just commercial products and not have to start over from square one. So that's been a big benefit that we've heard about.
And I could just see, again, I know it was a little bit larger, but the portability of that. And as you mentioned, again, those keyboard shortcuts, I know so many of us use, and helping students make that connection between the Braille, the computer, and the Mantis just kind of, to me, almost makes it complete. Like it's a full package. So I thank you both. Is there anything else that you'd like us to know about the Mantis?
I can't think of anything except that it is a bit heavier and a bit larger, but that's offset by that advantage of the different keyboard and the 40 cell line. So especially if students are going to be using a lot of collaborative documents, I know sometimes students will work on, say, a group project and they have a document that several group members are editing. The Mantis is a great way to do that because in JAWS, if it's connected to a laptop with JAWS, you can split the Braille. And so you have 20 cells of the document, and on the other side, you have 20 cells where it's showing the comments or the edit changes that other people are making. So that's another huge advantage of a Mantis for an older student that might be working on those types of group projects. I'm thinking maybe more of like middle school or high school for that.
And I will state, I think that some of that collaborative stuff even happens so much younger. I know with
It
my
probably
kids,
does.
I know in elementary school, there was a lot of shared documents, even between this, my child and their teacher. So again, I think it's amazing. Sarah, did you have anything else?
I don't at this time, but I appreciate everyone being here.